Oh my god, we're back again, Gary. Our friends at, not you Green, but KinHank have sent over an updated Super Game HDD. Now, if you remember, this 12 terabytes, that's a lot of games. This 12 terabyte drive they sent us earlier in the year was really, really well received, except some people were concerned about the PlayStation 4 games on there and other PC games. Now, what KinHank did was they took a lot of those PC games off. They took a lot of the things that were causing false flags for Trojans or viruses. Those are gone, and they've added more console stuff. They've also added more front ends. I believe there are 5 front ends. We're going to find out real quick when we open this up and plug it in. But it is pretty cool to see that KinHank have actually kind of internalized the complaints. Hey, this is blatant piracy. And they said, okay, well, we're going to get rid of those games. We're going to add more console things. Hey, I don't like this one specific arcade twirly kind of front end. Okay, we'll add 4 more. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's neat that they're responsive. They've done a little bit of a refresh. We're going to plug this in. We're going to see what we got. If you want a more advanced tutorial or a more comprehensive guide, heck, I'll link. Can you put it up there, Gary? Here? Where do you want to put it? I'll link my previous video somewhere, and we're just going to go ahead. It comes with a manual. It gives you pretty clear instructions. If you don't already have like DirectX 9 or Net 2.0 or any of this stuff, you're going to want to install that. You're going to want to install this font, bezels, and then you're probably going to be good to go. Ooh. Look at all them beautiful pictures. And you have QR codes if you need to get a hold of Ken or Hank. Just like before, you actually get a pretty high quality Ugreen external hard drive and case. Comes with a data cable. And a pretty decent quality 12 terabyte, 3.5 inch hard disk. There's some people that go, well, I don't know where this is from. Is this refurbished? Is it going to last long? I'll tell you that the one I got earlier in the year, I use it all the time and it's still going strong. I can see myself in the grid. So let's plug this into the PC and see how she does. Whoa, here comes the sweet as flip intro. I guess that wasn't as sweet. But here's what we got. We have our 5 front ends. Hyperspin, which was on the old one, is arcade-based for the most part. There's a sketchy PC front end, Playnite. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because it's PC games. I don't feel super comfortable talking about those. LaunchBox is on here too. It seems like it tries to cover it all, but in my experience, the PlayStation 2 performance is pretty bad, and the configuration files aren't set up. You also have TeknoParrot, which has newish arcade games. Really neat to see these. Some are ones I didn't even know existed. And then you have RetroBat, which is Windows-based emulation station. It's pretty much your best bet for consoles and handhelds. And it also seems to have better configurations baked in. There's also Kodi in here, which is movies, which is neat, I guess. Let's start off with Hyperspin Attraction, which is what the old system was entirely based on. One of the things I've noticed is that this runs a lot faster and a lot smoother than the previous version because there are far less games crammed in here. This is mostly arcade stuff. You can find a couple arcadey console games tucked into collections, but for the most part, this is just all your arcade stuff looped together, and it's really cool to go through and see some of these older games. And for the most part, every game in this collection is going to have a cool custom bezel, and it just kind of makes you feel like you're in the arcade from back in the day, and you're struggling with this masked guy to beat up Sonya. Oh, God, you just broke her spine. Oh, God, she just broke my neck. Anyway, it makes you feel like you're hanging out at Walmart, you got a quarter, and you're really trying to beat the crap out of Sonya. Reiko wins. And you did it. I really like this for arcade games. Honestly, there are a ton of arcade games. I kind of want to find a comprehensive game list. I'm going to call Ken, maybe I'll call Hank. I'm going to try to get that somewhere in the description. But there's just so many arcade games. If you're an arcade dude or dudette, you're not going to run out of games to play. That much is certain. And there's just tons and tons of games in here, and I really like it. I like this for arcade games. And speaking of arcade games, our next front end is TeknoParrot. I don't have a ton of experience with TeknoParrot, but it seems to be super advanced, semi-recent arcade games. I haven't been in an arcade in a long time, probably in a couple years, and it wasn't really an arcade. It was a Dave & Buster's, and I had a couple soda pops, so I don't remember. But the games on here are really cool. We're going to get to a racing one here, and you can watch me struggle with it. But I really, really like it, and it's like the previous front end, but more advanced. Unfortunately, there's only like 100, 150 games on here. So, more advanced, far less selection. 3, 2, 1, let's go! So as far as I can tell, the plot of this game is you and your buddy are dangerously driving around this city, and you're chatting to each other, I don't know, on a cell phone? Hopefully it's Bluetooth. You can't have your hands off the wheel when you're going, good lord, 225 kilometers per hour. I don't know what that is in freedom units, but I don't know what this game is. I've never played it before, but you just drive around and you chat with your buddy. Have you guys played this before? It looks like it's Japanese only, so maybe our Japanese viewers, have you seen this in a giant arcade? Let me know in the comments. I don't know. I enjoy it. Whoa, watch out. I think that was overblown. Oh god. TeknoParrot also has some pretty advanced fighting games like Street Fighter 4 Ultra, which I'm really bad at, but let's watch me struggle against this old man. Get dunked on. What? Oh crap, I taunted him. Anyway, it's really fun. The graphics are amazing. It runs great. It's just kind of an interesting game that I've never encountered. I don't know, again, is this Japanese exclusive? Let me know in the comments. Come on, Zoo. Connect. I just want everyone to be aware this is pure skill. I'm not just mashing buttons. Oh, KO. What you gonna do about it, elderly man? Oh, I think he's really badly hurt. She's just laughing at him. Wow, that's super rude. We're gonna skip Cody because I don't do media stuff, and we're gonna go to Playnite, which I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on because it's a little ethically dubious. These are PC games. I don't remember paying for them. I paid for the hard drive, but yeah, I'll show one little bit of gameplay footage. It is a cool curated collection. It's just so yeah, here we are. Games work. Games look beautiful, depending on your computer. But that's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, moving on, we're gonna go to BigBox. Now, BigBox is just LaunchBox, and it has all your retro games up until PS3. Is PS3 even retro? We don't know. But up until PS3 and Xbox 360. It's got all your systems on the left, and it has a preview on the right. And boy, howdy, it has pretty much every system. Let's just start going through them. You got N64, DS, regular NES, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, GameCube, Super Game Boy, Switch. Not going to talk about that. You have some of your Sega stuff, a lot of Sega stuff. Sega, Super Nintendo, Neo Geo, Sony. What do you got? Amstrad, Atari, ColecoVision, ooh, MSX, and ooh, Xbox. Now, the previous version had Xbox games, and they weren't really Xbox games. They were PS2 games. So let's pick one and see if it's really Xbox. Well, heck, let's go with Fable. It's gonna open up with an actual emulator. Let's see here. Loading. Ooh. I haven't heard that sound in a long time. Now, yes, this is an actual Xbox emulator. Neat. However, Xbox performance on here is extremely subpar. I don't know if it's because the emulators they have need to be updated or what. But you watch this guy walk real slowly, probably at about 25% speed, and the game never gets better. This was what Xbox RPGs were like before BioWare realized they existed. It was kind of roof stoof. But yeah, the Xbox games on here don't run great. It's not the end of the world because there's not a ton of Xbox games on here, so you're not missing out on a lot. But you could fiddle with the emulator, you could download a new one to your machine, but right out of the box, the plug and play ability Xbox games, not good. Now, you might assume if Xbox can't play on here, Xbox 360 has no chance. And you would be wrong. I'm not sure why. But Xbox 360 games on here are more performant. I hate that word, but they run better, and there's a lot less fiddling right out of the box. Like, I'm going to open up this Dragon Ball Z game, and it's going to run. Don't believe me? Watch.
Found it! I feel a bad power coming from over there. Body don't fail!
Now, I'm not going to show gameplay because your old buddy Zoo doesn't want to get in YouTube jail, but the amount of Switch games on here is really impressive. So on the last hard drive, they had about 60 Switch games, and none of them were great. This one has over 200 games, and a lot of them are legitimate. Now, it does look like they ship with Yuzu, an older version of Yuzu. I'm not sure the legality of that, because Yuzu, you know, got shut down. There was a lot of drama. Big N showed up and kicked in their door. So, I don't know, but suffice to say, there are a lot of Switch games on here, if that's your thing. If your thing is GameCube or Wii games, there's almost full libraries on here for both these systems, and they run really well. Now, I know it's all computer dependent, but you'll see here in a minute, especially with this LaunchBox-based one, that the configuration files that it's shipped with and the age of the emulator play a huge role. So PlayStation 2 here in a couple seconds, you're going to see it runs like crap on LaunchBox. And it's because the configuration isn't done properly. Which again, if you're going to get this as a plug-and-play device, it's kind of a pretty big strike against it. So we're going to load up Madden 06. Oh, that's loud. EA Sports. It's in the game. Here's a cheerleader. Come say hi.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
Everything seems great until now. But wait till we get to the gameplay. So everything is looking okay until right about now when the camera spins, and you'll see everyone start to slow down and then speed up. We're gonna slow down again. And it's a configuration issue. My machine can dominate PlayStation 2. It's just a configuration issue. And right out of the box, PlayStation 2 on here, through the LaunchBox setup, not good. Big strike. So immediately moving over to RetroBat, which is just Windows-based emulation station, we will see a distinct improvement in gameplay in all of these systems. Now, lower-end stuff doesn't matter. You can power your way through. But PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, heck, let's switch to the same game in PlayStation 2 and show you the performance increase. You see these cool bezels, and you'll also see the game doesn't crap itself during kickoff. Let's return this Cribs. I like Josh Cribs. I wonder what he's doing nowadays. Oh, come on. Almost. Oh, is he free? No. Dang it. He dropped the ball. But you know who didn't drop the ball? KinHank, because they decided to put RetroBat on here. And their version of RetroBat has all sorts of configuration files. It has these bezels. You're running at a higher resolution. There's might be a shader on there, but it just runs better. Come on. Speaking of running better, how about you run the ball, drones? Sorry, I'm getting worked up about a game that's 20 years old at this point. But anyway, RetroBat's probably your best bet for all of your games from Atari to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. However, 3DS doesn't work on any of the front ends. So let's skip to that and watch me struggle, like the Browns, for the entirety of their existence since 1999. Dang it. What's frustrating about 3DS performance on here is that it worked on the previous iteration. And if you go into the help manuals, they mention the Hyperspin attraction. So part of me thinks Hyperspin attraction had something built in that would unzip the files, because all of your 3DS games are zipped. And then they don't load, and you see a message like this. However, if you go on the hard drive and you extract the zip file and then try to run it, it works. Which means your 3DS games in here are functional. They're just not plug and play, which is kind of a bummer, kind of a big bummer, because this device is supposed to be plug and play. So, and especially because it worked on the previous one. That bothers me. I don't know if they just kind of threw them in there and expected them to work. They forgot that they did something special with the attract front end they had previously. I don't know. It's just kind of a bummer. What's not a bummer, however, is that Vita's on here. And PS Vita is one of those systems where if it runs, it's going to run really, really well. But there are a bunch of games that just don't work for whatever reason. You can go back and look at my RG556 review. I got Persona 4 playing at like 2 or 3x, and I can't get Disgaea, however you say it, I can't get it to run past the first tutorial battle. But heck, let's not worry about that. Let's play Hotline Miami. I don't know what it is about this game. It tickles a very specific part of my brain. It's like a combination of a puzzle game and the very first Grand Theft Auto from that top-down view. Stab this guy. He's gonna get back up. Get him, get him. There you go. I don't know, it's just very, it's not wholesome. You just murder everyone. There's gore everywhere. But it's an interesting puzzle game that's not really a puzzle game. Oh, I died. Anyway, try Hotline Miami if you haven't. Heck, play it on here, on the Vita. We're going to end the video with a little bit of PlayStation 3. Now, full disclosure, I had to go in and update the emulator, and the instructions say, don't update the emulator, it could be unstable. PS3 games were wildly unstable. If they loaded, they crashed, they took forever to load the shaders, all that stuff. I went in, I found the emulator, I manually updated it, and now PS3 runs great on here, like it should, because my PC is a hoss. It can handle it. It's just another example of the initial configuration issues that really hold this down from being great. It's good. It's just held down from being great by the initial configuration stuff. Well, Gary, it's time for What Did We Learn? And we learned a lot of things. We learned that KinHank actually listened to the comments from you on my earlier video, other similar videos, and through Amazon, and they made some changes. They reduced the number of PC games down to around 100 titles. Still feels a little skeezy, but it's a lot better than the previous iteration that had a lot more wares type files. Remember wares with a Z? And you'd go to LimeWire and Direct Connect, and you'd get weird Russian viruses on your computer, and Mom would scream, "You broke the brand new computer, idiot!" Sorry. KinHank also added new systems and or more games, such as TeknoParrot, Xbox, PS3, Switch, 3DS, and Vita. And the Xbox and Xbox 360 games are actually emulated. They're not just links to Chinese x86 versions. Progress. They also removed some smaller games and games that didn't work well. That, coupled with the fewer PC games, allowed them to add more console and handheld games. For instance, the old version had around 60 Switch games. This one has over 200. All in all, it's a pretty decent upgrade if you had reservations about the first model. The Super Sketch stuff has been minimized, and there's more of a focus on different handheld, console, and arcade experiences. It also seems like breaking the games into different front ends made the respective navigation easier, just because they're not trying to load over 100,000 games into one thing. The multiple front ends is also a downfall. RetroBat and LaunchBox both have the same games, but LaunchBox isn't as optimized, at least for some of the higher end systems. You can always go in and reconfigure things or update the emulators, but that defeats the plug and play aspect, and, according to the manual, it could break front end integration. I had to do it for PS3, which we're watching right now, and it worked, but your mileage may vary. Now, as we saw, original Xbox is hit or miss. Xbox 360, hit or miss too. But PS3 works after you update the emulator, which is... PS3 also has a lot of load time the first time you load a game. That's just how the emulator works. Now, if you went in and updated your Xbox or your 360 emulator, you'll probably get better performance than you saw here. But there is a finite limit with Xbox and 360 emulation in general. Just keep that in mind if you're interested, or if you're really interested in the Microsoft consoles. You're going to have a hard time with this. 3DS is weird and doesn't work out of the box. That's a problem, because it worked last time. I don't know what they did. I would assume that they just dumped the files over, said, hey, RetroBat or LaunchBox or whatever, run these, and then no one checked to see if they loaded. So if you want to play 3DS games on here, and it has pushing the whole library, if you want to play 3DS on here, you're going to have to go into the hard drive and extract the files, which might be a deal breaker if you're looking for something that's just plug and play. One of the things that came up in the previous video was Defender or antivirus or firewall notifications. They'll pop up occasionally, but that's just due to the fact that there's emulators on here and some exe files that might not be registered correctly. There were no viruses in my first wave scan, and the things that did pop up were all just false positives. Things that I see on machines that I have made myself from scratch. It's just, Windows doesn't like emulators sometimes. And Windows definitely doesn't like exe files that you might not have paid for. Anyway, the plug-and-play aspect of this hard drive could have been a lot better for a lot of systems, like 3DS, Xbox, Xbox 360, PS3, PS2 in some cases, but you're still getting a ton of games. That alone might be a good reason to grab one, as we are seeing more and more of our traditional sites get shut down. I'm not encouraging sailing the open seas, but it's nice to have a physical backup of stuff that you might own, but maybe you can't play it because your machine's broken, the disc got scratched, the eShop got turned off, Nintendo. Why would you do that? Or a variety of other reasons. If you're interested, this goes for about $300 on their website. You can also find it on Amazon and different stores if you really look. But through the website, it's $300. But if you use code ZOO-OFF40, you'll get $40 off. How about that? Now it's only $260. If you were interested in the first one, but you didn't think there were enough actual retro games, or you thought there were too many PC games, this might be up your alley. If you aren't interested in it, you're probably not interested in it. So, I don't know what to tell you. But I will say that if you're into the hobby and having a physical on-hand copy of all the games you might ever need for all your handhelds going forward, then this might be a good buy for you, especially in the environment we're in, where some of our favorite classic websites where we went for years to talk about games and translation patches. They're gone now, or they're in the process of being gone. So it might be worth it to have a backup copy of all of your games ever, right in the palm of your hand, as it were. Get up, guy. You're probably infested with an alien. If you don't want to be infested with aliens, remember to like and subscribe and all that jazz. And if you liked the video, let me know in the comments. If you didn't like the video, well, by God, you will let me know in the comments. I know that for sure. And up next is going to be my 100th video. This was video 99. So if you've been with me since my beginning, or with RH since its beginning, I'm sorry. I'll try to do better. I'll try to maybe be more professional. Ha ha ha. JK. See you later.